Welcome to Company of Heroes 3 US Forces Faction Guide and Strategy. In this video we will go over all of the aspects of US Force as a faction. What you can expect to learn are all of the necessary intel, such as specific playstyle this faction has, weaknesses and strengths of faction, infantry and vehicle highlights, as well as strategy for playing them on the battlefield. Same like before, make sure to subscribe in order for this video to give you full scope of intel about all of the faction. Content of the video will include a general overview and feel of the faction, overview of buildings and units they can field, while main focus will be on tactics and possible strategies on how to best utilize all of the tools available. Before we start, make sure to check our DAC and Wehrmacht faction guide as well as other guides by clicking in the top right corner and a description down below. US forces in Company of Heroes 3 are interesting and in-your-face faction. They are relying on aggressive and overwhelming firepower support in order to finish the task. The key importance here is firepower support. Riflemen are good early aggressive infantry, but late game they scale really poorly and are not versatile as they used to be before. For this reason, you require support weapons in mid and late game. My general feeling of USF faction is that they are squishy, and without the support of Sherman in particular and some off-map call-ins, they lack serious firepower to move the front line on their own if facing similar roster from the Germans. However, a good part is that USF vehicles are really good, and to be honest, they field the best light and medium vehicles from the basic Tech 3. Greyhound, M3, Half-Track and Sherman are really good performers, especially when upgraded, not to mention Chaffee as well. Unique things for USF is that their veterancy system requires you to unlock what type of veterancy bonus you want for your units, so they will not gain additional bonus or utility when reaching veterancy 1, but rather you have to unlock it. Another unique upgrade for US forces is their upgrade center. It is similar to the British forces in regards that it focuses on different groups of units, but you can only select one upgrade center at a time and other two are locked. These are Air Support Center, Infantry Support Center and Mechanized Support Center. With regards to battle groups, United States forces have several flavorful choices which they can have. But to be honest, one is the most impactful one, and that is Airborne Battle Group. Second in line, in my opinion, is Motorized Battle Group, and then we have a Special Operations. But we will go in depth about these in our Commander Battle Group sections. Main strength of United States forces in Company of Heroes 3, in my opinion, are their vehicles, which I deem the strongest in the game. We will go over these in our vehicle and early to late game highlight. Another strength is also a pure focus on aggression which they have in their playstyle. But to end on a strong note, if this wasn't enough, is that their airplanes are creme de la creme. They can tack in to have a constant and a complete utter devastating effects with their airplanes in the battlefield together with their allies. Speaking about weakness, the main weakness of United States forces is lack of competitive infantry in late games. Riflemen can have a good presence late game, but they lack the toughness of other infantry, and not to mention the versatility in basically using this infantry on the battlefield. Paratroopers and commandos as call-in infantry are in some way necessity in order to properly fill your infantry roster. Speaking about building overview, so from our starting HQ tier 0 we can get Scout Squad and Engineer Squad. Also from this tier building we can get healing for our infantry. Additionally, our upgrade centers are also being constructed from the main HQ. These upgrade centers are Infantry Upgrade Center, gives us the captain, reduces costs of reinforcement and ammo for abilities which we are using. Mechanized Upgrade Center gives us damage and armor, additional survivability for our vehicle. Airplane Upgrade Center provides us with airplane call-ins regardless of commanders. We get strafing, scouting and rocket strike. Additionally, from this center we can reduce and improve these abilities which we unlock. Speaking about other tiers, we have two options to pick from tier 1. So tier 1, option A, barracks, will give us rifleman, 4x4 truck to move around, cap and harass, and mortar. Tier 1 option B is Weapon Support Center, and from there we can get MG, Bazooka Squad, Sniper and M3 half-track. From Tier 2 Motor Pool we can get Greyhound, AT and Chaffee light tank. From Tier 3 Tank Depot we can get Sherman, Hellcat and M4 Bulldozer Sherman. Commanders for United States forces are a cool addition to the force, but there is honestly only one right choice in my opinion. Other two are niche pickups if you want to have some changes in your games. The main pack which I'm speaking about is Airborne Battlegroup Commander, and they are focusing on giving you early boost with infantry presence so you can keep up with the aggressive playstyle, and they're also giving you powerful support call-ins for late game. Highlight of this commander, this battle group, is basically the paratroopers, which are slightly stronger units than riflemen, but they can provide you with bazookas, so you can have more versatile force to deal with tanks. Bazooka squads are squishy as hell and they can't deal, in my opinion, with tanks properly, so having some sturdier infantry like paratroopers is really necessary. Mechanized Battlegroup Commander is giving us powerful upgrades for our tank. This is a niche commander. Majority of upgrades in this battle group are regarding the production of these tanks, so meaning cheaper and more tanks. However, there are also some battlefield performance upgrades and abilities. You also get access to Easy 8, but to be frank, for the price it's much better to upgrade Shermans and roll with them, as they will be stronger than Easy 8 once fully upgraded. Special Operations Battlegroup Commander is the last which we are going to cover, and they are just focusing on supporting your basic roster with utility call-ins. Highlight of this battle group is SSF Commando Squad, which is the strongest infantry unit you can have in game, in my opinion, but rest of the abilities from this battle group gives you less powerful utilities than other battle groups are offering. However, if you do not require powerful call-ins, this battle group might just be your choice. Early game for USF is not complex, and it revolves around aggressive pushes on different fronts and spreading the enemy thin, so you can have superior up-close firepower in early game. You can get early boost of presence on the field with Paratrooper Battle Group by pair-dropping MG Squad straight off the bat where you want it to be on the map, and upgrade the Scout Squad to Pathfinders. As USF faction is a really aggressive and mobile faction, it is important to constantly be on the move, and when attacking the enemy, try to engage from different sides so they cannot properly focus your force. You should aim to rush to late game as fast as you can, as that is where you will gain more impactful support unit and weapons, and also try to preserve your early units, as they are basically your late game units as well, since you can't get anything else. Mid-game, when Germans start to field some stronger specialized units, you will feel it, and that is when you will decide on what is the early support you need. Is it the M3 Quad, Greyhound or even AT units? If you have built Weapon Support Center, then go for M3. If not, then Motor Pool and gaining Greyhound can be a good decision, as Greyhound is a really good performer. During the early game, you will need to unlock Support Center also in order to tech to Tier 2 or Tier 3, and also if you want to get any upgrades for your units, you'll need to get these upgrade centers. Strongest upgrade center in my opinion is Mechanized Support Center, which will turn Sherman tanks in the strongest Tech 3 tank in the game. I hate to say it, but late game for United States forces is really simple, even simpler than early game, but it is the truth. Late game is basically just focused on making tanks and unlocking all of the upgrades from the upgrade center which you picked and which you skipped in order to rush for the Shermans and more powerful units. It is really simple as that. You try to keep your force, try to preserve your early game units as much as you can, and get those Shermans to trade with the Germans, as these are the best tanks once they are fully upgraded in the game. Only infantry unit I would highlight is SSF Commando Call-in unit, and for a reason that they are only infantry unit in United States forces which can have and provide versatile fight. Other infantry units, well, they have and they cannot compete with the Germans, either in toughness or versatility on their own compared to commandos here. Speaking about vehicle highlights, Greyhound and M3 are really nice armored light vehicles, which will give your infantry much needed impact on the field. Germans tend to get MGs early, and getting light vehicles can put more pressure on them. But the star of the faction is Sherman. Not even EZ8 can compare with the Sherman once they are fully upgraded through Mechanized Support Center, and it is the strongest tech tree tank in the game. Also, a quick mention can be a Chaffee light tank, which is useful against enemy light tanks or medium tanks in the early mid game.